yet another live session. This is Mary Joseph, your friendly and frank licensed immigration advisor, coming live from New Zealand, Hamilton. So, this is my eighth session for the year, the live session for the year. I've been away for the past 2 weeks. Firstly, very, very sorry about that. Some caught up with some personal stuff and I couldn't come online. However, I think Arun filled in for me. Thank you very much, Arun. But then I hope we have my regular followers coming up here live from New Zealand and from across the globe. So, for first order of business, let me start with giving out my license number. As all licensed immigration advisors here in New Zealand are supposed to prove before they provide immigration advice by giving out their license number. It's 2018 01050. You can go up and look up my name, Mary Joseph, on the IAA register. So that's how you will know that I am a licensed immigration advisor. So while we wait and wait for the questions to roll in, I have my lovely team online here on standby to help me as always. And yeah, so I heard the Facebook and Instagram was down. In fact, here in New Zealand, it was down for almost 2 to 3 hours, and there was a huge, what do you say, kind of a banter on the radio here. There's something called a very popular radio show called Edge New Zealand, and those guys were making really really fun of people, who was saying, oh, we're struggling, the Instagram is down, we don't know what's happening in the world, we don't know what the Kardashians are eating or drinking, and that is the reason I'm not able to go ahead with my life and things like that. So yeah, social media has become such an integral part of our lives that it is, you cannot go by your day without having to look at your phone, or and things like that. Even for an hour, it is kind of a struggle. I notice with a lot of people, especially the young crowd, that you just can't stay away from your phone. But however, I've noticed this. On that note, what I would say is New Zealand gives you an opportunity, a beautiful opportunity to be able to put technology aside and go and explore the world. I've noticed that. I've been, to a couple of my friends' home this entire, past few weeks since we're here in New Zealand, and there is a very, very lovely couple. They are actually originally from Scotland, and that lady works with my husband in. So we went to their home, and throughout their dinner for about 2 3 hours, we were there. They were a very, very lovely couple. They've got a couple of cats and stuff like that. They never touched the phone, and that's when I realized that it's so important sometimes to respect the person in front of you. Put your phone aside, put technology aside, and focus on what's in front of you. So New Zealand gives you that chance, and don't worry about Instagram and Facebook being down. Yeah, I mean, if Facebook would have been down, I wouldn't have been able to come online now. But however, there should be times where you need to push yourself to keep technology aside and focus on your life, focus on your family. It is very, very important. Right, so moving on to let's see if there are any questions coming in. Okay, nothing has come in yet. We just have one person called Anamika, who said hello to me. Hi, Anamika. You can type out a question in the meantime. Right, so what we'll do is, if we don't have any questions coming in, I will pick up questions that are very commonly asked in forums, questions that puzzle international students and immigrants coming to New Zealand. So I will read out some of those questions that are very common, and I'm going to talk about them till we start having those questions coming in. So I'm also going live on YouTube. So we have somebody posting questions there, but guys, without your numbers or some contact details, we won't be able to answer your queries. So please ensure that you leave your phone number as well, so that my team can then paste your query onto Facebook. Even better if you can come to Facebook and post your question there. I can see somebody called Vimal, who has posted a query. He seems to be our student, so I could possibly answer that. Team, can you confirm if Vimal is one of our students? And if he is, I can start. I can start with this question first. Yeah. So if you can please confirm, that would be good. Right, just give me a quick second before, I think my team is also looking, posting some things. Yeah, sorry. So, team, can you please confirm if Vimal is one of our students? Yeah. So, in the meantime, I could, yes, I could answer. Right. So, we'll wait for the questions to come in, because till then, I'm going to answer the first one. It says, can we apply dependent visa along with student visa, and what are the chances of approvals? Right. So now, how we look at with respect to dependent visas. Now, we don't really call them dependent visas. Yeah. Now, in New Zealand, it's called partner visas, and then children dependent children visas. So partners are not considered dependents by themselves for New Zealand. Okay, because I know for a lot of other countries, partners are considered as dependents. However, for New Zealand, they are not considered dependents, but they get a visa. Though their visa is dependent on the student, they're not called dependents. They have a partner work visa. So there are a lot of courses that allow you to apply for a work visa. Now, the current policy says, if you would like to your partner to have a work visa while you are studying, you should be on a course at a level 7 and above, which is as per the long term skill shortage list, right? Exactly, listed as per the long term skill shortage list, or study a master's level 9 program. That is when only your partner is eligible for a work visa based on partnership. However, if suppose you're not studying any of these courses, then you are still eligible to bring your partner along. However, that will be on a visitor visa. Right. Now, if your partner's on a visitor visa, then your children also will get only visitor visa. If they are school age, that's 5 and above, they will not qualify for a domestic status student visa. So there are a lot of things. So when you're going to an agency to talk about your student visa, and you've got your partner, you've got your child coming along, please be very careful. There are lots of consultancies, thousands of agencies in India and in many other countries. I'm referring to India because India is a major market and we get most of our inquiries from there. However, we are getting inquiries from across the globe. So it doesn't matter which country you are from. Please ensure that your agency has a licensed immigration advisor on board, because I have seen there are a lot of people who have come to us. There is recently one lady, very nice lady, who applied for a program where she is not allowed to sponsor her partner a work visa, and she even went ahead and applied for a visa, and now she's stuck. Her visa is still in process, but then she's stuck. She applied by herself and she's stuck because she has not applied for the right program, because apparently somebody told her, or some agency told her, that you have to study this program, and she wrongly interpreted the instructions. See, immigration law, immigration instructions, we study a course. We immigration advisors go through a 1 year program to understand immigration law. It is just like understanding or studying any kind of law. But we advisors specialized in immigration law. So we take 1 whole year to understand. So by just reading the instructions, or not just instructions, a lot of people just read, say, notes on the immigration website. That is not clear enough. Now, if you read, if you just go ahead and say, okay, you have to study a course on the long term skill shortage list, oh, IT is in the long term skill shortage list, so I can do a PG diploma. That's not the fact. So it is important for you to talk to a licensed immigration advisor before you proceed with your application. Otherwise, it's a very, very big gamble. Your visas will be applied, they'll be approved, and then you will have to apply all over again and spend another thousands of dollars to change the course and apply all over again, which is a lot of waste of money. Instead, go straight away to a licensed immigration advisor. Go to an agency that have a licensed advisor. Most of the big agencies in India and across the globe, I have noticed, don't have a licensed immigration advisor on board. We are based, however, based here in New Zealand. We have a team of 3 full-time licensed advisors, and 2 more to be ready to be with us, ex-immigration officers with us. So we've got a solid team of people who understand immigration instructions. We've got a very, very strong team who can tell you, okay, this is the fact. If we don't know, we always go back to the policy, refer to it, and clarify to you further. Okay, so please, so that's what it is. So going back to that question, yes, you can apply for your dependent visa along your student visa. There is no stop. Also, when you apply online, you can apply it as a group because their visas are connected to yours. You can apply as a group, and you can do that when you only work with a firm with a licensed advisor, because you can apply them together. If you're working with someone who does not have an LIA, that means they cannot file your spouse and your child's visa. Your visa, their visas will be straight away declined, because that comes under immigration advice. So please be very, very careful about this. Yes, you can, but you need to take a lot of care when you're applying for visas together. Also, partnership cases have a lot of complexity in them. They're the ones that take longer for us in terms of assessment, because there are a lot of requirements that you need to meet. Just by showing a marriage certificate is not good enough. So I'm just going to quickly skip this through and go ahead with the questions. I think there are some questions that are coming in, so I'm going to quickly get into them. And if any of you have more questions, you guys can you'll know where to contact us. I'll start off. Before start going to the questions, I'll give you guys the numbers you can contact us on. If you're in India, there's a toll free number you can reach us on. It's 1-800-103-6525. The email address will be info@ajvglobal.com. If you're based here in New Zealand or anywhere else across the globe, you can reach me directly on +64 22 605 2615. I very rarely use WhatsApp. I'd prefer you to send me a text, or you can email me. That'll be even better, which is immigrationadvisor@ajbglobal.com. So then I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Also try and avoid leaving voice messages, which we don't tend to check very often. So yeah, so you can reach us on all these methods. So let's go straight into questions. So Vimal, one of our students, thank you so much, Vimal, for working with us. Pleasure to have an AJV student come online and ask questions. So Vimal says, I enrolled with AJV. I have 2 years of experience in digital marketing. Very good. My UGC is in BE Triple E. Interesting move. I decided to go with my marketing as my career. So I really don't know what your question is. Asking if it's a good thing, I would say it totally depends on what skills you have, because digital marketing is heavily dependent on the digital skills you have. So you need to have a lot of understanding of SEO, SEM. You need to have understanding of what is called Google Analytics. And there is a whole lot of HubSpot certifications and Google AdWords certifications, Google certifications by itself, that you will need to be on top of, because digital marketing the company with your skills, right? So it is all about that. So it doesn't really matter if you have a triple E, which is electronics, electrical electronics engineering. That's absolutely fine, Vimal. As long as you have strong digital marketing skills, you should be all right. Yeah. Always, while you're doing, possibly will be doing some freelance work, or you've already done some projects, have them ready as a portfolio. Because again, you need to have published data to show that, okay, I've done well here, I've done well here, and this is like my portfolio. So you need to have that in place before you approach employers. So please have that. And as in, when you're working on projects, please put them together, collate them in one place, so that you can show it to your employer as a good presentation. Yeah. So that's what a digital marketing person does. So yes, there's quite a bit of demand here in New Zealand. You will do well only if you've got a good portfolio to show and you have skills to bring to the table. That's very, very important, Vimal. Otherwise, you're an AJV student, you can directly reach us, talk to your case officer, and we'll be able to help you further on this. Yeah. So moving on, the next question is Sunando Basu. Sunando, hi Sunando, thank you so much for coming live. Sunando is someone who's also working with us at the moment. He's moving with his family here. So he says, thanks for all the help in answering all the questions promptly by you and Ambli. That's good. I had one question on the resident visa. It is mentioned that minimum of 2 years New Zealand study is required for a job. Would the 1.5 years level 9 course help on contributing points for the same? Sunando, I think you're a bit mixed up on that question, and it's a very good question, because I think a lot of people come to us and say, you know what, to get a resident visa, they say you have to study masters. That's the question. I think you got it mixed with finding a job. That's not what it is. So the policy says get to qualify for a resident visa, either you need to have a 2 years masters from New Zealand, apart from having 160 points based on your profile. You also need to you also need to have either a masters or a full-time employment that is suitable employment. The employment has to meet certain conditions of, say, a salary. It has to meet conditions of skill level. You must be suitably qualified by training or qualification for that. So there's a whole lot of clauses in that. So what happens is, if it's either or, it's not both. Okay, so in your situation, if your wife is studying the 1.5 year masters, we are focusing on the second aspect, is for you to qualify with the skilled employment, right? So doesn't really matter, masters will fetch points by itself. Apart from that, the job offer is what is more important, right? So you still need to meet the 160 points, doesn't really matter how you meet it. So that's what the focus will be on. So what we'll do is, after this call, I can talk to you. I can do, I as usual, what we do, we can do a Skype, and then we can discuss this further. But this is for everybody's information. It's either or. So as a student, when you come in, doesn't matter even if you study a program, as long as you're able to meet the second requirement of a full-time employment, you should be all right. And 3 years is a good amount of time to get that, because over the past years, 15 years of my career with New Zealand, initially it was just 6 months when I started off, and then that year when I joined the industry, it became 1 year. And for the past 14 years, I've seen that even with 1 year, people have been able to get there. So 3 years is like a jackpot, guys. And when this policy change happened last year, we were zapped. And but then we could see what New Zealand is doing. New Zealand, the government is making education as a very, very favorable pathway, because it is important to invest before into people, into something, before you get returns, right? So the government wants to see whether you're good enough for that. So they are asking you to invest some money, study, get a qualification, and giving you fair amount of 3 years to be able to prove yourself. If you're not able to prove yourself, like Arun says, get a mirror and look at yourself and analyze to see why you're not able to find a job. There could be possibly some areas for you to develop and do well in. Yeah. So it's all about constantly realizing, where you are falling short of and what skills you're falling short of, and being able to come up to the mark. So that's what it is. So we'll move to the next question. I hope I've answered that one, Sunando. Otherwise, you have my number. You can call me straight. There's no problem in that, right? So the next question is from Joseph Abraham Thomas. I got 6 years of experience in recruitment, HR. Which course suit me to go on settle in New Zealand? PG diploma in business level 8 or graduate diploma in business level 7, so that I can apply for an entry level to upper level job matching profile. Sorry about that, guys. So Abraham, this is Joseph Abraham. This is a very, very common question. A lot of people have asked this question before, saying, does the level of the course matter in terms of finding a job? There was another person today, this evening, in the afternoon, I got an email saying, oh, I think my husband should downgrade and get into a level 8, because somebody said that if you study a level 9 program, you need to have a supervisor position. This has been doing rumors. This particular assumption has been doing rumors a lot lately. And not just right now, sorry, this has been there for like ever, since the time I remember. People say that, they say all sorts of things. So it is not a fact, guys. It is not a fact that if you study a business program of a higher level, you have to get a managerial position. It depends on the role. Okay, I'll give you a quick synopsis on this. Now, a customer service role is not considered very highly skilled here in New Zealand. It's actually skill level 4, I guess. So if you are getting a job as a customer service representative, you you will need to have a salary of 36 something, which is on the upper end, if you are not skill level 1, 2, and 3 in ANSCO. So if I tell you these things, they're quite complicated. So what I would suggest is, I have seen so many of my students, doesn't matter what level they have studied, they find a job, they talk to us. If it is not skill level 1, 2, and 3. We tell them that you work through and find something relevant. So it is the job role and what skill level it is, guys. So if it's a lesser skill level, so customer service manager is skill level 1, sorry, skill level 2. So not skill level 1. So that means, so they have assumed that, okay, I have to have a managerial position. That's not right. Now I have somebody who's working in health and safety, as a health and safety advisor, and that girl has found a job it's not a managerial position. She doesn't manage people. So but then that is a skill level 1. So that is what I'm saying. It is not the level of job, it is your role that is more important. So when you find yourself a job, we will analyze to tell you whether it will lead you to PR, resident visa immediately. Sorry about that, it's resident visa, it's not PR. PR is permanent resident visa. So resident visa is the first one that you get after you qualify for it. So um, so that is what it is. It's the role and not so much the level of your job. Okay, so Joseph, that's what it is. So you will need to talk to us and not listen to everybody, so then that everybody will keep confusing you further. So that's what it is, right? um, I'm going to move on to the next question. So, talk to us, Joseph, and we'll see how we can help you find a better program. Also, it is important to find a course that has good papers and not do just anything randomly. You have to, it's important that you have to select a course with good papers. Only then you will be able to land into a good job and things like that, right? So, that's what it is. So, please talk to us and we'll be able to advise you further on this. Okay. Right. The next question is from Moksh Arora. I've been hearing this name for quite a bit now. Guys, I'm going to skip this question. Team, can you please contact? We have Moksh's number as well. Can you please reach out to him and check, because I've been hearing his name for over a few weeks now. I'm not really sure if we have reached out to him and helped him with all his questions, because if we have not, then it's not right. Yeah, I'll personally talk to you more and help you, because if you're coming online and asking the same question every week, then it's not right. Okay, and that means we're not doing something right over there. So we need to reach out to you personally and check. Team, can you please connect with Moksh and check with him, because I've noticed this query even in the previous 2 sessions. So please just check with him and leave me a message so that I can see whether I need to answer him or not. Right. So the next question is from, okay, we're getting quite a few YouTube questions. Looks like people are not really online on Facebook. So, so we've got Shankar Mahi. Hi, this is Shankar, AJV student. Any updates on my student visa? Shankar, I don't think this is the right platform for me to answer and give the update on your student visa. Best will be for you to talk to your case officer. That's Anne. Please have a word with her, and if you like, I can step in and find out what's happening. Yes, there are a lot of delays, and we are trying to do our best. We are getting licensed immigration advisors to intervene. I am personally taking up a lot of cases on on my name, and now trying to get some kind of update from Immigration New Zealand. But guys, they're genuinely very, very, very caught up. Even simple visitor visas, I've heard they're taking about 6 to 8 weeks. What's happening is, I'm sure we have told this in previous sessions, a lot of offices have been shut and they are now focusing on consolidating operations. All student visas are coming to Mumbai from all across the globe, because they had about, I think, about 8 odd offices across the globe doing student visas and other visas, but now they're all coming to Mumbai. So they are very, very busy because of that rush. But wherever it is possible, we are trying to prioritize and push it through. We like you, and we thank you first of all for being so patient. I mean, you should appreciate each one of our students who are very, very patient. Thank you so much. But at this stage, with how busy immigration is, it is important to get a visa and not so important as to when we get it. So it is important to review your visa and get it through. However, we are putting in special note to the head of operations here at Mumbai to see if we can get the visas out quickly. we'd like you to hang in there, hold on, and I'm sure the visas will come through, and they will come through with a positive outcome. Yeah. So just hold on there, Shankar, and I will find out what's happening, and I will talk to you in person if required. And otherwise, our senior team manager will contact you, and she'll help you as well. Right. Okay. So the next question is from Gray Matter. I wonder what your real name is. Anyways, so good afternoon, sis. Okay. My bro discontinued his studies in third year, and he worked in a company for 1 year. Then, after that, he had done his UG in Australia. Now he wants to pursue his master's in New Zealand. Now, can you please tell the odds of his visa? Is the visa officer going to ask him about the discontinued studies? What about the probability of getting a visa? I will just answer this in one simple word. I don't see any problems. Three simple words rather. So they won't. I don't see any problems. But you will have to work with somebody who can present your case. Well, I have personally, my team and I have worked on cases like this, cases with gaps, with discontinued education, with being away and doing nothing because of sickness. There's a lot of reasons that people are not able to pursue their career, are not able to study continually, at a stretch and stuff like that. So we have handled cases like this. So, but you need somebody who can handle it and who has experience in handling such cases. So you must talk to us. Team, please make a note of this name and connect them. If required, please, you can also connect with me directly. Not sure what your name is, Gray. I'll just call you Gray. Sorry about that. So just connect with me straight away, and I'll see what best. We need to analyze your case and see why exactly your brother's case, why exactly he discontinued his education, right? So please send your information through, leave us your number, and we'll be able to reach out for you. Okay. Next question. How are the odds for mathematics school teacher? Sorry, jobs. Um, Teaching jobs are quite a bit in New Zealand. There are, but there is quite a fair amount of competition. Earlier, teachers were in the skill shortage list. Now they are not a part of the skill shortage list. However, there is a great demand for teachers, for good qualified teachers in New Zealand. You will need to go through the registration cycle. You will need to register with the New Zealand Teachers Council. You need to meet English. You need to take, I think there's not an exam. However, your qualifications, your overseas qualifications, is required to be assessed and things like that. It's a quite a lengthy process. You could do a shortcut by studying a course that will qualify you for the Teachers Council registration. That could be the quickest option. However, you could possibly also look at a pathway where you can directly get registered. You can go to the New Zealand Teachers Council website and check what is the process for that. And after that, if you still have questions, do check with us and we'll be able to help you. So my Hindi is a bit weak, but is that I am having 10 years of experience, is it? Okay, that possibly is 10. My Hindi, written Hindi is a little weak. It's been ages since I've really read Hindi, I'd say. So yes, I think it says I'm having 10 years of teaching experience. So yeah, so it's best that you reach out to the teaching council and check with them. Okay. And that is, I think your name is Pro Kumar. Yeah, so I think that's what your name is. It's written in Hindi. Sorry, guys. So yeah, we'll be able to help you if if you're considering the study pathway. We could certainly help you with that. Okay. Mohammad Asad, I did PGDBM in marketing. May I know the scope of sales profiles? How could I get the job? Mohammed, if you're based here in New Zealand, I think you should call me straight away and talk about this, because when you say scope of sales, I don't really know if you're saying that you're asking about jobs. But if you're asking about jobs here in New Zealand and you're already here, then you must know because you're already here. If you're asking me PGDBM back in your home country, you've done that and then you're looking at finding a job directly in New Zealand, it is going to be difficult. If you're trying to look for a job straight away in New Zealand by applying online, because it's tough to find a job, employers would need you to come to the country and they need you to be here in order to offer you a job. That's very, very important. So um, if you can clarify a little bit more on your questions, that'd be great. Okay. So next question, Deepa K. Hi, I'm Deepa, AJV student, Unitech, PGDIT or AIS PGDIT is the better institute and program in Auckland. Is there any value added program, including internship with courses? Deepa, if you're already an HAV student, I would recommend that we discuss this offline because it's a very, very specific question. Now, but again, I can only tell you one thing is Unitech and AIS, they're very, very good schools. Okay, Unitech is the largest government polytechnic in New Zealand, and and AIS is one of the oldest private training establishments. So they are very, very good in IT programs specifically. However, I strongly recommend you to look at the papers, okay, because the layout of the papers are different with each school. I've heard AIS to have many papers. Unitech does about 8 papers, which is 4 and 4 in each semester. However, AIS has smaller credit papers spread across the year, so they have about 10 to 12 papers. So it really depends on the papers that you want to study. We do not recommend courses just based on the school because we promote all very, very good schools. Now, I had a student who was interested in cloud computing, and that was available only in Fitteria Polytechnic in Wellington. And so obviously we suggested he should consider that because he wants to do cloud computing. He's passionate about that. But there are other students who want to become a business analyst. So they want something to learn, study with a bit of business analysis and ID programming, whatever they do in that area. So Unitech has papers in business analysis. So I think you should really focus on the papers. And this is not just for this particular course, guys. Whatever course you're selecting, if you've got 2 offers, don't select based on the city. Don't select based on it's just about $100 less or whatever. Or don't say, oh, Auckland's very expensive and that's why I don't want to go to Auckland, or I don't want to go to Nelson because it's a small town. I'd say that's not how it works. All the cities in New Zealand are livable. This is the feedback that I get from Arun, who's traveled end to end from the country. I've not traveled a lot. I've been to a few cities, but when we drive across, I've driven down to Wellington, and we have driven through small little towns, and you can see that even those small little towns have opportunities. I've got students and clients who have found jobs in a weird small little town somewhere which is away from the main cities. Yeah. So every city in New Zealand is livable. I, in fact, had a question this afternoon saying, okay, is Wellington too cold? Because I come from, a very warm part of the country in India. Is Wellington too cold? I told them, again, you will come, and once you come here, you'll get adapted. It doesn't really matter if it's Wellington or, yeah, South Island gets a little too cold and snows in certain places. However, you get very quickly adapted. Especially the concern was with children. Kids are so resilient. Once they come in, they take to I have a 4-year-old. When we came into the country, he was barely 2, and then he took to the place just so comfortably, even though we don't have less than 12 degrees temperatures back in Hyderabad. He just took to it. Even with -2 degrees, he was so comfortable. So kids are very resilient, and your body also gets conditioned because the air is so clean and fresh, and you do so much of physical activity, so your body also gets accustomed. So any city in New Zealand is livable. Do not choose based on certain external factors. Make a choice of course based purely on the papers. However, if you have a partner coming along with you, and the partner's got very, very strong skills in certain areas, and the partner could be the driving one to your resident visa, then you will need to choose with care. Then you will need to look at it in tandem. Like, suppose if your partner is good in certain areas, say for example, we have a lot of students getting jobs in dairy. So if your husband or your wife is into food technology, dairy technology, you might want to consider areas where and cities where there's a lot of meat and dairy industries. Yeah. So yes, so that could be a co-factor that you can decide on. But if you're single, Don't decide based on anything else. Cost of living is by and large the same across New Zealand, doesn't really matter. Focus on the papers. Of good courses give good outcomes. That's the proof that our students are doing well, is because we have advised them always good courses. Yeah. So if you look at all our testimonials, you'll clearly see how well our students are doing. Okay. So Deepa, that's what the answer is. And please have a look at the papers and decide on that. Okay. Kumar, you've come back with a question saying, how can I get mathematics teacher in a school? Kumar, applying for jobs overseas is from overseas is very, very difficult. I would recommend you to first contact the New Zealand Teaching Council and then go about from there. Yeah. So apply without the registration, you cannot teach in schools here in New Zealand. Okay. Asad, so you're saying you're in from India. Okay, no problem. So your question's still not clear, Asad. If you can clearly tell me that if you're studied here or you've studied in India and looking for jobs, um, so that the answer is that if you're looking for jobs from India, it's not going to be possible to find one. It is best to take a pathway from there. Right. And moving on, next question. We have someone that I know is saying hi. Hi, Prima. Right. So next is we've got Kottayam land. She says, I think that's not her name. Sorry, that could be possibly a pseudonym that she's using. She or he could be from Kottayam, right? So the question is, hi, ma'am, confused whether to choose Canada or New Zealand. I did BSc, MSc psychology with about 80% in both. Um, what are the chances in New Zealand? Can I take exams to get registered there? Is NZ a good option for psychology graduate? How? Please explain my chances and jobs. First of all, yes, that is correct. If you're a psychologist, if you are in the area of psychology, because it's related to medical sciences, if you're a clinical psychologist, you definitely will need registration in New Zealand. But if you are getting into the pathway of counseling and it's non clinical psychology, you may not need registration. Okay. Because if it's the related streams, if you're working in, say, child counseling and things like that, so you may not require registration. So the best way to look at this is to first of all see how difficult the registration of into the psychology into the medical board is for you. If it's very tough, then you could possibly look at other programs, like I said, counseling and rehabilitation and things like that, where it creates a parallel pathway for you to come into New Zealand, find your self-employment, and eventually possibly look at registration in the future. So please talk to us, and if you talk to us, we'll be able to understand your profile a little more better and then give you appropriate options. Because what happens is, this is a general forum. There's only so much that I can answer. So best thing will be if you can leave your details, we'll reach out to you and we will answer that question for you. Okay. So right, so it looks like we've exhausted all the questions. Team, is there anything else that you would like me to answer? Please confirm. There's anything else specific that you'd like me to answer? Any of your students have left any queries and things like that? Sorry, guys, I am looking through my phone to see if there are any other messages because my team is here on standby. So Um, okay, so let me just quickly check and let me also have a sip of water. There seem to be quite a few questions on YouTube, mm, but people have not left their phone numbers. But let me just quickly see if there's any good question that I can answer in the meantime. Mm. Oh, that's a very good question, Gayatri. Gayatri, I'm just answering this in good faith. If you can leave your number after this, it'll be great. But Gayatri is asking a very interesting question. This is on Facebook. She says, um, what is the scope of PG Diploma Health Endorsement in Addiction Studies in New Zealand? I would say there's good scope. Yeah. Probably Gayatri, you're the same person who's asking a question under Kottayam there in Facebook. So, Gayatri, now, yes, addiction studies is another area that you could possibly look at. because there is some a fair bit of problem with drugs and alcohol here in New Zealand. It's not specific to certain age groups, it's across the board. And I think drugs and alcohol is quite a bit of a problem across the globe. It's not just in first world nations. So just that in countries like India and things like, we don't understand the importance of having people in those areas. We don't understand the importance of going for counseling when you have addiction towards alcohol. We just say, okay, as age goes, they'll move on, or the habit will go away, or they don't need we don't realize people need help. But in New Zealand, it's taken very, very seriously. People, depression, they are encouraged to go for counseling. People having drug problems, they are encouraged to go for counseling. People having alcohol issues. So addiction studies is a very, very good topic. And yes, I won't say there's a huge demand, but there is a fair amount of requirement for people in these areas. If you are a psychologist, there's a very good chance you will be accepted in that role in addiction studies, because it's closely related. Okay, so that is possibly an area that you can look at. And we have currently, I've seen a lot of doctors, nurses from India actually doing addiction studies. However, I would say a psychology student is even more a suitable option, because it is to do with mind. It's about handling people through a very difficult time. So if you are if you studied psychology, I think you're the most it's the most relevant thing to do in New Zealand. So yes, I would strongly recommend that. And we can discuss this further if you leave your details, Gayatri. Okay. Sachu, hi Sachu. I think you've asked this question earlier on as well. Job prospects in applied health program in Invercargill. As I said earlier, all cities in New Zealand are livable. They're very, very good in terms of opportunities. But if you're looking at applied health, I seriously need to know what your background is, because if you are a medical graduate, if you have studied any medical related program, so why are you doing an applied health science course? We need to understand that, because I know that you've picked up this program in SIT, but then this course is very, very good. I've noticed this. Okay, I'm no sorry about that. So I've noticed that this course content is very good, and not many schools in New Zealand do have an applied health program in a government polytechnic. I think EIT is another one that has a program in health science, but international students are not allowed into that program. However, the program at SIT does allow it. I know the content is very good, but I personally have not seen successes of any of our students, because we have not sent. There's in fact two students who are studying right now, but it's a very relatively new program. So I won't be able to answer that, to say whether there are a lot of jobs. But where you need to go to answer, not just for this particular course in Invercargill, the best place to go and find jobs, related queries to find whether there's scope, is to go up and check on this job sites, because the job sites give a good indication of what kind of jobs are available, where, in what roles. Okay, now if you're looking at applied health science, I need to look at the course content and tell you what kind of jobs you're eligible for. And then specifically for those roles, you can then check what are the jobs. So Sacho, I know that you've sent me a message early today, so we will have a chat. I will leave you a message after this Skype call. We will have a chat, and I would like to really see the course content. Team, in the meantime, if you can share the course content for Sacho's, I know Sacho is one of our students, so if you can please share the course content with me, and then I can break down your questions. And on a open forum like this, I may not be able to spend that time and answer that question for you. And you're an AJV student, so you get special preference. We will sort this out after this call. Team, I think Anne is the case officer. Can you please ensure that I get the course content for Sacho's course, and then I will talk to him in person about this. Sounds good. So we have run out of questions, I see. Okay, let me check on YouTube because YouTube seems to have some questions coming in. Okay, we have a few people. Somebody is asking about BE mechanical, but visa problem since nine weeks. Is guys, is Shubham one of our students? Can you please check? Then we've got somebody called Technical Azhar who says hi Technical Azhar. And then when we also got Maria Kiran who says masters. Can you tell us about Masters of Applied Management in NMIT Nelson? I've opted for it. Maria, please contact us. We have somebody actually studying this program, so we may be able to connect you with that student. But it'll be best if you can leave your number, and then we can help you further with that question. Okay. Deepa says, thank you. If the institute offers 26-week internship, including their program, is there value added compared to programs? Deepa, absolutely. If any course is offering you an internship, it is a good stepping stone because I have seen a lot of students being able to go back to that company after finishing the course. If they have done an internship with some company, they're able to go back and say, hey, you know what, I'm willing to continue the internship for a few more weeks. If you like me at the end of a few more weeks, you can probably consider hiring me. Um, it is it is important to get some Kiwi experience, and these internships will help you do that. Yeah. So yes, but then please do not decide on the course purely because of internship. Again, if the course has papers that you don't like and you're not interested in, suppose for example you don't want to do coding and you're focused on networking, but the course has for coding, you're going to struggle. Yeah. Internship won't help. Okay, so focus on the papers. Yes, internship is a plus point. However, focus purely on the papers is what I would suggest you. Okay, so that is my answer to Deepa. Shubham again is asking best place to study supply chain logistics. Doesn't really matter, Shubham. Doesn't really matter where you study. It what matters is what is more important is the papers, not really the city or the school, because all government polytechnics are good and they're governed by the government of New Zealand, so they're extremely high quality. It doesn't really matter. What matters is the papers. And also, there's a bit of a suggestion with supply chain and logistics. Do that program only if you have a strong background on it, either study or work. Because this is also recommended by the schools here. They say that people with some kind of an experience in supply chain logistics do very well, and I have seen that happen as well. I have some of my clients from the UAE who have come with some kind of an understanding and experience of logistics, and they've been able to find jobs. We have somebody from Pakistan who was working in the logistics chain with petroleum, and he seems to have almost cracked a job here. So yes, there is good scope if you have a background, I mean work experience in that area. So please be very very careful about that before you make a choice of supply chain and logistics. So I think we're almost about to team. Is there any other question that you'd like me to answer? Right. So couple of things before we go. Yes, there are delays with Immigration New Zealand, huge delays with Immigration New Zealand. However, we have an email from them saying that all visas have to be filed minimum and will be given some kind of a priority if it is filed 8 weeks prior to course start. Minimum of 8 weeks prior to course start. So please, that means if you are looking at a course start in July, you have to apply, say July 25th or the second week, third week is your start date. You have to apply by second week of May. You have to absolutely apply. That means you have to apply for your admission right now and please understand it takes 4 to 6 weeks to get admission offers from universities and takes about 2 to 3 weeks from government polytechnics and private institutions. For masters by research or any kind of research programs or PhD, it can take way longer. So and masters courses will take longer, MBA courses will also take longer. So please Also with the dramas with getting loans and all that, that also takes a long time. So we'd like to allow at least a month for you to be able to get your finances in place. So guys, if you're keen on July, you have to act now. Don't wait. Don't think, oh, you know what? I know people, I know schools, I know immigration, I know this, I know that. And don't sit on your application. If you made up your mind about coming to New Zealand, you have to act now immediately, right? All applications from AJV. This is another thing that I'd like to say now. All applications apply. All visa applications filed by AJV will be represented now by a licensed immigration advisor. For the next 6 to 8 months, it's going to be me. Every single application leaving my our desk, it'll practically leave my desk because I will represent your case. I will fight it out. So you'll be free. You can come online and ask me, Mary, what's happening with my case. So that's a promise. We will be, because all licensed immigration advisors filed files are, I have a direct contact center. I have a hotline number where I can call immigration. But if you file through someone who is not a licensed immigration advisor, there is no way to find out, get an update. So that's the biggest advantage you're going to get by working with AJV, is that you have a licensed immigration advisor who will back you up and will try and somehow get your application on time for the intake. However, you need to act quickly. You cannot come at the last minute and expect us to do miracles. We cannot do that. I'm sorry, because Immigration New Zealand has tightened our hands by saying we need to file 8 weeks prior, and all the other processes will take another 4 weeks. So you will need to apply now for July intake. You cannot delay. And if there is any medical problems in your case, it can take even another further 4 weeks from there. If you're planning to go with your family and you have to apply and take your family along with you, then please add another 4 weeks there. So if you're keen to go to New Zealand, to be there by July, you cannot sleep on it. You have to absolutely start your process now. As I said, each and every application leaving AJV's desk will leave from my desk, and I'm personally going to look into every application, and I am going to get on the phone and try and get the applications allocated on time. That's a promise from our end, because we have seen troubles that Immigration New Zealand is going through with the huge delays, with being they being overworked with applications, and we don't want to take a chance. We want each of our students. It's never happened in the past. Unfortunately, this particular intake, it's never happened that such a huge number of people have had to differ. That's, even the schools are devastated, but we want to plan in advance. We need to prepare for everything. Yeah, we need to plan in advance. So guys, applications have to be filed by May 2nd week. If you can file earlier than that, even better. And work with AJV, because it will be filed by a licensed immigration advisor. That is myself. I've worked with Immigration New Zealand personally, and we worked as a team for the past 15 years. We have a success record of 95% and above. So if we file through AJV, consider it done. Okay, in very, very rare cases, visas don't come through. If there are some fraudulent documents and things like that, or there's a medical problem, but we try and vet, and we've not lost any applications because of fraudulent documents. That's another thing. And all our students are properly prepared for visa interviews by I've got a strong team of senior level people. They are ex-immigration officers. So we've got 2 team leaders, we've got a manager, we've got 2 other people here in New Zealand, um, who are licensed advisor, and we've got Arun, and we've got Gisela. So we've got 2 other licensed advisors. So we are an army, guys. We are an army of what do you say? We are prepared for the war. So you guys will need to work with somebody like us for that. Yeah. So that's what I'll sign off today's session with. That I don't see any other questions coming in before we leave. One last time, I can give you the numbers that you can reach us on. That's 0800, sorry, 10362525 if you're calling from within India. If you're calling from any other country across the globe or New Zealand, you can reach me directly on +64 022 605 2615. Email IDs that you can write to is, any generic queries can be sent to info@ajvglobal.com. And if you have a specific ER, at ajvglobal.com. If any of you are looking for immigration, if you're looking at direct resident visas, or you would like to know what pathways are available, please email to immigration advisor at agvglobal.com so that we can assess, send your CV as well as your spouse's CV if you're married. Don't forget your date of birth, very, very important to be included. Don't forget including all your academics and the year of passing. Also mention if it was a full time or a part time degree. And if your wife or your spouse is unemployed, we definitely need to see at least what their highest qualification is. Yeah, so these are the important details in the CV along with your email. Please send it across to us. We will assess and get back to you within 48 hours. That's about it. It's 11:30 in the night here in New Zealand, and I'm signing off. Thank you very much, all you people who have come live. It was a very short notice. We did not advertise this yesterday, but thanks for all of you for coming online and watching this live stream. Hopefully, this video will remain on Facebook and YouTube after this stream. Hopefully, some of the others can catch it there. But thank you very much. You've been a lovely audience. Team, thank you for being on standby and helping as always. Thank you very much and see you next Thursday, same time. Thank you, guys.